Welcome to the Human 5 Project, the podcast where we cut straight to the breakthroughs that matter, the show where science meets self-optimization. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and here we break down the real research, real data, and real dosing behind modern biohacking, from compounds and peptides to techniques, devices, lifestyle strategies, and performance protocols. Most people jump in and jump out before they get the gold, so we're keeping it tight and delivering the essential insights you need without the fluff. If you've taken the time to hit play, we'll make sure you walk away with valuable knowledge that can transform your approach to longevity, health optimization, and beyond.
Let me start with a hard truth. You can have the best supplement stack in the world, the cleanest electrolytes, the most expensive magnesium, the sharpest nootropic, the cold plunge, the red light, the perfect morning routine, and still feel like your performance is inconsistent. Your focus is random, your recovery comes and goes for no obvious reason. Why? Because most people are trying to optimize chemistry without optimizing context. They are treating the body like a vending machine. Put in a capsule, received result. But biology doesn't work like that. Biology is responsive. Biology is adaptive, and biology is contextual. If you're taking the same supplements and sitting in the same gray office every single day, your body has stopped listening to you. You aren't optimizing. You're just spending money to feel normal. That's what I call being a flatline biohacker. And today, we stop. We are moving from a grocery list of habits to systems architecture. We're breaking down the rhythm of pulsing versus linear habits. What should stay constant, and what needs a break to stay effective. We're introducing the environment stack, how your workspace and physical surroundings shape your energy more than most people realize. And we're giving you two actionable powerhouses, the focus catalyst and the unwind stack. These aren't theories. They're your cheat codes for amplified focus and recovery. And by the end, you'll see why treating your biology as a symphony changes everything. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X with the Human 5.0 Project, broadcasting from the sun-soaked shores of Palm Beach, Florida, where the ocean's rhythm reminds me daily that adaptation truly is everything. Today we're launching our flagship episode, part 1 of 2, Introduction to Synergy. But a quick disclaimer before we dive in. This episode is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not medical advice. Supplements, caffeine strategies, fasting, heat exposure, cold exposure, and environmental interventions, they may not be appropriate for everyone. So if you've got a medical condition, you take medication, you're pregnant, or you have cardiovascular or neurological or psychiatric concerns, please talk with a qualified clinician before making any major changes. Okay? Cool. Let's get synergistic. Here's the first idea. Not every healthy habit should be treated the same. That sounds obvious, but most people do exactly that. They find something that works, and then they assume that if it works, doing it every single day must be even better. And that's how people accidentally flatten their own response. Your body is a master of homeostasis. It is always trying to maintain balance. When you repeatedly expose your body or brain to the same input, the system starts to adjust. Sometimes that adaptation is positive. That's how you get stronger, fitter, and more resilient. But sometimes adaptation makes an intervention lose its edge. They are still using the stack, still buying the supplements, still doing the cold plunge, still taking the focused product, but they are not getting the same response. Why? Because their biology stopped listening as strongly. So here's the framework that changes everything. Your health needs a floor and a ceiling. Linear habits build the floor. They create stability, resilience, and baseline function. Pulsed habits raise the ceiling. They are strategic performance levers, and they are powerful precisely because they are not always on. Let me give you the Human 5 rule of thumb. If you stop using something and you feel like your normal self disappears, if you don't feel a difference when you stop, there is a good chance that you have adapted to the point where the tool is now propping you up instead of elevating you. You're just spending money to maintain a new expensive normal. And that distinction matters. So let's break down what belongs in each bucket. First, the floor. These are your non-negotiables. These aren't exciting enough for social media, but they are the habits that make everything else work better. Sleep hygiene, consistent sleep and wake timing, a dark room, a cool room, lower light at night, a real wind down period. Sleep is not optional infrastructure. It is the repair window for your brain, your hormones, your immune system. You do not pulse sleep hygiene, you protect it. Morning sunlight, 5 to 10 minutes of natural light into your eyes early in the day, no sunglasses. This anchors your circadian rhythm and supports daytime alertness. A lot of people are underperforming not because they need another capsule, but because their light hygiene is terrible. Hydration and electrolytes, steady water intake with sodium and magnesium. A dehydrated brain is not a focused brain. Hydration doesn't need hype, it just needs consistency. Nutrition basics, balanced whole food meals, steady protein intake, a blood sugar pattern that doesn't look like a roller coaster. And biology, yes, it likes rhythm way more than chaos. Daily movement, not every day should be a maximal war against the universe, but almost every day should include movement. Walk, move your joints, get blood flow, etc. Foundation supplements, magnesium glycinate for relaxation, omega-3s for cell structure and inflammation, vitamin D3 and K2 if you are deficient. These are not fireworks. They are there to reduce friction in your system. So before you ask, what should I add? The better question is, have I actually built the floor? Because if the floor is weak, advanced tools feel exciting for a minute and disappointing over time. Now let's talk about the ceiling. The strategic strikes. Pulsing means you strategically remove or cycle a stimulus so the body stays responsive to it. Instead of hammering the same system every day, you create exposure and recovery, signal and reset. And this applies to a lot of performance-oriented habits. Caffeine, used strategically, it is excellent. Used automatically, it becomes a dependency pattern where you are not taking it to perform better. You are taking it to feel baseline. And that's when the magic fades. Nootropics, Racetams, Noopept, anything that heavily pushes neurotransmitter systems, these deserve respect. They are not everyday forever tools. They are use with purpose tools. Cold exposure, ice baths, cold showers. Amazing for dopamine and resilience. But if every exposure becomes a compulsory identity ritual instead of a meaningful stimulus, the relationship changes. The point of hormesis is stress, followed by adaptation, not endless punishment. Sauna and heat therapy, same thing. Heat stress is beneficial, but it is still stress, so frequency matters. Intermittent fasting? Well, fasting can be powerful, but forcing the exact same rigid eating window every single day forever is not automatically superior. Sometimes flexibility is healthier than fanaticism. HIIT and intense training blocks? Well, HIIT work, this creates adaptation. But if you try to redline every day, eventually your body votes, and it does not vote in your favor. The principle is simple. The stronger the signal, the more likely it needs rhythm. And that is how you protect sensitivity. That's how you avoid turning useful tools into expensive background noise. So let's make this practical. You don't need a complicated spreadsheet. You just need a few simple models. Framework 1. 5 days on, 2 days off. This works well for stimulating tools tied to work output or focus. Use them when demand is high, back off when demand is low. Framework 2. 3 to 4 weeks on, 1 week off. This works for broader cycles where you want enough time to assess a tool, but also want a built-in reset before adaptation gets sticky. Framework 3. Let's look at this as a context-driven use. Sometimes the smartest strategy is not a calendar cycle, it's using a tool only when the demand justifies it. Big writing session, heavy work block, travel fatigue. That keeps the intervention feeling like an intervention and not like wallpaper. Not everything needs to be pulsed. Not everything needs to be daily. The question is not, is this healthy? The question is this building stability or is this generating a strong signal? And that tells you what bucket it belongs in. Now let's talk about the second half of the synergy equation. This is where most people are leaving performance on the table. Your environment is your external cytoplasm. Your body does not separate supplements from surroundings as neatly as you do. It just responds. So if you're trying to focus and you're in a hot room, stale air, dim lighting, notifications everywhere, visual clutter everywhere, random noise, and no clear work cue, then taking a focus supplement inside that environment is like trying to win a race with the parking brake on. The intervention matters, but the context determines whether it lands. Your environment can either support the state you want or quietly sabotage it. And most people never audit the room. They audit the supplement label, but they never ask, what is my room teaching my nervous system right now? Is it teaching focus, or is it teaching fatigue, fragmentation, and stress? That question matters more than people think. Let's build our first example, the focus catalyst. This is not just take a thing and hope. This is a whole state setup. Let's say you have a serious work block in front of you. Internal, you wake up, you get morning light, you hydrate, you move a little. You don't waste caffeine on mindless scrolling. You save it for the moment when actual output is required. External, now the room supports the state. Light, cool, blue-rich light, 4,000 to 5,000 Kelvin. This mimics high noon sun. It suppresses any lingering melatonin and screams alert to your brain. Airflow, fresh ventilation, crack a window or turn on a fan. Stale air leads to CO2 buildup, and CO2 buildup leads directly to brain fog. Your brain is an oxygen hog. Sound? Binaural beats in the beta range, 14 to 30 hertz, or instrumental music with no lyrics. Apps like Brain.fm are designed to entertain your brainwaves to a focused frequency. Visual field? Zero clutter. A clean desk is a clean mental cache. If your eyes see chaos, your brain processes chaos. The synergy? Well, the blue light suppresses melatonin, while the sound architecture masks the shaker frequencies that break deep focus. The fresh air fuels cognition. Now your supplement isn't carrying the whole load by itself. It is amplifying an already aligned system. That is the focus catalyst. Chemistry plus architecture, and not chemistry alone. Now let's build the opposite, the unwind stack. A lot of people fail at recovery because they stay in mixed signals. They want the body to relax, but the environment keeps yelling, stay on. Internal, magnesium glycinate to relax NMDA receptors and muscles. Apigenin from chamomile or a low-dose melatonin, think 300 micrograms, not 5 milligrams. And this would be to initiate sleep transition. Glycine to help lower core body temperature. External, now the room supports shutdown. Light, warm amber light below 2700 Kelvin, or better yet, red light. You must block blue light. If you must look at screens, wear blue blocking glasses, but the goal is to turn them off. Temperature, a slightly cool room, 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This is what we call thermal anchoring. Physical cooling triggers the onset of deep sleep cycles faster than any pill alone. Sound, delta waves, 1 to 4 hertz, or pink noise. Pink noise, like steady rainfall, has been shown to improve deep sleep by stabilizing brain waves. Scent, now we bring in the limbic system. Lavender or vetiver essential oil in a diffuser. Scent bypasses the thinking brain, and it goes straight to the emotional center, signaling safety and relaxation. The synergy? The physical cooling and the limbic relaxation work together. The magnesium has a clear signal to support. The room, the rhythm, and the inputs all point in the same direction. That is why the system can actually shift. That is biological synergy on the recovery side. So here's the big idea. Most people are trying to optimize by adding more. More powders, more pills, more hacks, more protocols. But the real jump in performance comes from better sorting. Sort your habits into what should be linear and what should be pulsed. Sort your room into what promotes focus and what quietly kills it. Sort your day into what deserves support and what deserves restraint. Because optimization is not about taking the most things. It's about creating alignment. Alignment between your habits, alignment between your timing, alignment between your environment, alignment between the state you want and the signals you are giving your body. That is how you stop making performance feel random. That is how you stop treating supplements like lottery tickets. And that is how you start building a system. And that's the real goal here. Not just taking something that works today, but building a body and brain that stay sensitive, responsive, and ready to perform again tomorrow. Now, today we only scratched the surface of the environmental stack. We talked about light temps and sound frequencies. We gave you the focus catalyst and the unwind stack as powerful, actionable teasers. But here's what we didn't get into. Why does 40 Hz light increase cortisol? What is the exact CO2 ppm threshold for brain fog, and how do you measure it? How can you use specific essential oils to target the GABA receptors in your limbic system for a deeper sleep than any pill can give you? And what are the actual products, the exact specs, the things that are hype versus the things that actually matter? That's the deep dive. And it is exactly what we are doing next week. In part 2, the architecture of flow, we are going to tear down the environment stack and rebuild it from the ground up. We'll give you the exact specs, the product recommendations, and the science you need to turn your home into a precision performance laboratory. You won't want to miss it. Stay adaptive, stay responsive, and stay synergistic. This is Ultimate Biohacker 10X. I'll see you in part 2. Thanks for listening to the Human 5.0 Project.
If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready to elevate their biology. Make sure to follow the show for weekly deep dives into peptides, protocols, devices, lifestyle strategies, and the science of high-performance longevity. Until next time, stay curious, stay optimized, and stay 10X.